Hey everyone, my name is Noel and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the new Ahsoka show that comes out literally tomorrow. So I got to kind of keep this video nice and short, and we'll just kind of give you guys the complete rundown for everything. For all things movies and sometimes even TV shows if I'm interested enough. Make sure to smash the like button and also consider subscribing so you guys don't miss some talks from me about all things movies and sometimes TV shows if I'm interested enough. And I gotta say, even though Marvel has been putting out some crap TV shows recently, the new Ahsoka show does have me interested because Ahsoka is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters. Even in The Mandalorian and some of those other shows, she was pretty dang good, which, you know, is kind of surprising because Disney has kind of sucked at their products, and I know, it's unfortunate. However, even though Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters, she's aged quite a bit in this era that she's lived in, so would it be surprising if her character has changed? However, I'm gonna talk about Thrawn in this video because Thrawn I'm way more picky on, and I have some good reasons why. So before I get into this, I just want to say there's no spoilers for the Ahsoka show because it's not even out yet, but there is spoilers for the 6th Thrawn books that are out there, so if you guys don't want those spoiled, definitely go read those because they will be well worth your time. They are so good. So to get this story started, Thrawn is a part of what's known as the Chiss Ascendancy, a giant race of Chiss people that lives their lives pretty dang secluded from the rest of society. They are pretty tight as a race in whole, but when it comes to interacting with other species and races, they are interested in the slightest. They think that they're better than everyone, and for that reason, they just don't see a point to interacting or anything like that. Now, just to get one glaring question out of the way, no, Thrawn's special ability is not species-wide. Thrawn has a unique ability to look at the art an opponent has made and use that to judge their battle tactics to almost a 100% correct prediction. Because of this, Thrawn had a gigantic list of victories and pretty dang notable ones too. So the Chiss Ascendancy at the time was kind of in some major political conflicts, and some other species decided to take advantage of this and tried to take over the Chiss Ascendancy. The main culprit in all 6 of the Thrawn books are the Grisks. They are a very elusive, brutal, and destructive species that are very, very powerful. It is said in the books that just a few Grisks can control an entire species because of their brutality and intimidation. That's why we hardly see Thrawn dealing with the Grisks themselves, and instead they deal with their enslaved species. However, in the first 3 Chiss Ascendancy books, Thrawn is able to take down his foes using his insane military ability. Now, if you guys don't know, the Chiss Ascendancy has one major rule when it comes to their military tactics: no preemptive strikes. Because they like to keep isolated from everyone else, they don't like to attack first. They'd rather wait until they're attacked to start a war because they just don't want to fight people. However, Thrawn kind of decided to break this rule a little bit and go off and attack Jixtist, the main Grisk enemy in the Thrawn books. Now, here is where people started to have mixed feelings in the Ascendancy about Thrawn, because he had a major victory against a huge and dangerous enemy, but at the same time, he broke their major rule of no preemptive strikes, so people had to come up with a way to punish him, but also promote him. So the entire Ascendancy was told that Thrawn was thrown into exile, but what really happened was he was put on a planet far away to get picked up by the Empire to learn about the Empire and hopefully save the Ascendancy from this new threat, if it is a threat. Eventually, Thrawn would realize that the Empire isn't really a threat because Palpatine isn't too interested in the Chiss Ascendancy. He's more interested about creating peace in his own empire, if that makes sense. So Thrawn quickly rises in the ranks of the Empire, eventually making his way all the way up to becoming a Grand Admiral, which is as high as it gets in the Imperial Navy. Because of this, he has a lot of power and influence and is greatly against the Stardust Project, also known as the Death Star Project. And here's where his character kind of starts to come to light. If you guys watch Star Wars Rebels, you can see that he definitely doesn't really have too much of a care for life, but in the books, Thrawn is very smart and does not waste lives easily. He is very much against the Stardust Project because of the gigantic threat it poses not only to his empire, but also to the Chiss Ascendancy. Instead, he is highly for his TIE Defender project, which are basically super TIE fighters. They have shields and hyperdrives for better movement and combat abilities, but again, they're TIE Defenders, so they don't really need to be put into play until they're attacked. On top of that, the Stardust Project is built with Wookiees who are enslaved, and he has a huge problem with that. He is not pro-slavery at all. So he has a lot of contradicting ideas with the Empire, but since he's so good at his job, people are just like, we'll put up with it. Now, let me reiterate this. Thrawn's entire purpose of being in the Empire is to stop the Empire from learning too much about his own species or posing a threat to his Chiss Ascendancy. That is his main purpose. This is made specifically clear in the books. In Book 3 of Chiss Ascendancy at the very end, I can't remember the exact quote, but I specifically remember it because I was like, oh, so Thrawn doesn't really need to be a part of this Empire anymore when it doesn't exist. At the time of this Ahsoka show, the Empire is gone, so why would Thrawn need to be a part of this Empire if it just doesn't exist? There are 2 or 3 books, I believe. I can't even remember what they're called, but there are 3 books where Thrawn actually does follow this path. He comes back and leads the Empire almost to victory, but because Jedi, he can't predict the Force, yada yada yada, he loses. However, in these 6 canon books, this just does not fit his character. The entire Chiss Ascendancy is built on not fighting wars they don't need to fight. He's only a part of this Empire because it exists, and he's just way too smart to spend needless lives. So if he comes back to fight a war that he doesn't need to fight, waste needless lives, and is a part of an empire that doesn't exist anymore, those are already 3 major contradicting ideas to the Thrawn character we already have. Now, I know some people say, well, so-and-so says that they don't care about the books, so what you're saying just doesn't matter. Well, that's actually one of the major problems with Disney nowadays, is people just don't care about a good story. Now, let's say that Disney does care about a good story, and they know the Thrawn character, and they want him to be a good character. What's Thrawn's role gonna be like in the Ahsoka show? Well, I can see that Ahsoka is probably going to be prioritized with fighting these Inquisitors that are left after the fall of the Empire, which would make sense because they're Jedi, Sith, fighting still. But then what's Thrawn's role in this? I think that Thrawn is going to continue his quest against the Grisks in this series. The Grisks are still very much out there and very much powerful, and if you think about it, they like to take advantage of political infighting as they did with the Chiss Ascendancy. And now that the Empire has fallen and the Republic is in utter chaos, they're definitely going to be taking advantage of this. If Thrawn comes back to fight the Grisks, yes, he would be fighting for either an empire that doesn't exist or a republic that he doesn't need to fight for, but at the same time, he's fighting a threat to the Chiss Ascendancy too. This is made clear in the Thrawn books where he's a part of the Empire. He serves the Empire because at the same time of serving the Empire, he is serving his Ascendancy as well. So if he is fighting off the Grisks, that would make sense for him to be a part of this Empire still, because he's fighting off a gigantic threat to his own Ascendancy. So I think that this would make sense if he's fighting on the military front in the favor of the New Republic or the Empire or the Ascendancy, whatever 3 it may be. If he's fighting the Grisks and Ahsoka is taking care of the Inquisitors, I think that this would be a cool arc you could have. You could switch between Thrawn's side and Ahsoka's side, and even though Thrawn is technically a villain, it's iffy, okay? He does questionable things, but it's hard to balance. My point is, if they just mindlessly throw Thrawn in there to make a few extra bucks, I'm going to be extremely disappointed, because Thrawn is my all-time favorite Star Wars character because of his insane tactical ability. Hopefully Disney doesn't do this. Hopefully they make a good show where Thrawn actually is, like, you know, not stupid. If they do, this will be very interesting, but yeah, we'll just have to see tomorrow. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up the video there. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe so you guys don't miss a movie or TV show talk from me. Yeah, thank you guys all for watching. I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Peace.